Thank you.
This is The Road Less Traveled with your hosts, Bryan Carmen and Paul Honor.
Hey, happy fallback Sunday night. It's episode 52, and Bryan and I are super excited. We have with us tonight as our guest Rex Scott of X Center, of GX Project, of Zion, of Sound for Luminaries, which we'll find out about later in the show. Super excited to have you here with us, Rex. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I enjoy it. It's going to be good. Oh, yeah.
Finally
There you go.
Paul, show him yours.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't
I
drink
want
coffee.
one of those.
Yeah, well, this was only like $8 on Vistaprint.
Oh, nice.
So
Send me your address in
Yeah, you just signed it.
Messenger, and I'll make sure you get one, Rex.
Ooh.
Very cool.
Do you want a coffee mug or a koozie?
Koozie.
Koozie? All right. Well, that's Bryan. Message him. So what's up, Bri? How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Now, I know that you said we're not going to show what we're listening to, but I'm going to do it real fast.
Yeah, go ahead.
You got me listening to Holy Soldier again.
Nice.
And, of course, I've been listening to the last couple weeks to X Center to get prepared. So I was rocking out. Now, our show usually covers rock and roll. But to me, Twyla Paris, for being a CCM, had some pretty good rock tunes, in my opinion. And they're very biblical. And my wife and I saw her at least 6 times. You know, my wife died in 2022. So Twyla Paris means a lot to me. So
Nice.
for that reason.
That's cool.
And Ray Parra, who is a good friend of mine, and we support his podcast, Is It Wrong? This is really good. And real fast, you guys got to look. This artwork for this CD is so cool. I mean, ours is really good too, the full armor. But look at that. And then the backside. Whoop.
And a jewel case, too.
Yeah. And then this is what I want on our next album is you see how you have the lyrics and then it's got the picture of the band member.
Mm-hmm.
I like that because right now all of our CDs have an insert, which is okay, but it's like a collage of pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I want something like this. And
that's cool.
Dude, he can sing, man. Whoop, right
we love Ray.
Oh
Ray
my
loves me and I love Ray.
Ray has called me multiple times just to pray with me and ask me how I'm doing.
Ray's a good man.
I respect the crap out of him.
So I'm going to show these. These are the X Center CDs that I have. I have Fire It Up, and I have World Covered in Blood. These were the actual, and we'll talk about the secondary market and hopefully maybe some reissues. We'll find out. These are the CDs that I could actually afford because as a testament to the amazing music, the blues rock, crunchy music of Rex and company, you can't touch these for less than $80 on eBay and Amazon and any other place that sells CDs. And this one, also one of my favorites, is the GX Project. So all excellent bluesy rock. And so Rex, talk about that. Talk about the secondary market on your music. Why is it so expensive? And do we have any possibility of reissues coming?
Yeah, it's a crazy thing. I mean, a lot of people do the reissuing stuff. I don't know if we're going to get around to doing, the early albums. We just released Get It for digital downloads on our Bandcamp site online. So you can buy Get It and download it. and with high quality downloads. And I mean, the other stuff, it's kind of, there's some contractual stuff in the background with our label that did things at the time, Pachyderm Records. And so as we carefully maneuver through that stuff, you may see, you know, some other stuff come out here as a re-release. Don't know for sure. Have to leave it at that. But yeah, I mean, I too am amazed at what they get for some of that stuff on eBay and stuff. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's like gold.
Yeah.
Who knew that buying CDs would be like an investment? So,
No, I know. It's crazy.
So talk about the new album. Let's
Well, yeah, I mean, it's been, you know, over 3 years in the making, and it's been a grueling process that we've been doing on our own, but we decided after we did World Covered in Blood with a lower budget, because we weren't on a label at that time, and we still aren't, although Image Records facilitated our release, that we were going to put some serious money into this next project. And if anybody's heard any of the first cut that's on the digital pre-sales on our Bandcamp site, you can hear that we spent some more money on production than we did on World Covered in Blood. World Covered in Blood, we kind of went in and let's play live more and get more of a live raw sound, because our other albums before that were more produced. And so we did that. And then this one, we decided we're going to spend the money and do it the old school way. No AI was used in production of the album, and we actually print that on the cover of the new album that's going to going out with a bang. But yeah, I mean, it's been 3 years. It's been something else. I mean, it's a grueling project when you're not, you know, when you're on a label, you have a month to get everything done, and things suffer during that time. So you do have the liberty of listening longer to recordings, changing things. And so that part's nice, but it just, also you're dealing with families, because we all have families. And in GX, Glenn Thomas, who is basically the owner and engineer of iTunes Audios up in Newfoundland, him and I developed a relationship through GX that's just been fantastic. We've done several albums together, and so we wanted Glenn to produce this one, or co-produce it, and then mainly engineer it. Greg and I in X-Center are producing it. And so we got Glenn, and he's just been a phenomenal job. But you have all these elements of things that are going together and meshing. You know, there was Glenn's wife got ill seriously, had to have a surgery, you know, and things go quiet for a long period of time. And so, and we've had our own things, Greg and I and the other band members have things that come up too with family and stuff. And so you have all these delays built in over this time, you know, and people don't realize that you're not on an album, you're not scheduled to record it in 6 weeks and then put it out. This has been a long, long journey. And we feel that it's our best album by far. But, you know, people wonder sometimes why it takes so long to do that stuff, you know, and why is it taking so long to come out? But it's facilitated a lot of things. There's been a lot of growing, a lot of learning, a lot of patience being implanted into us. and you know, we want the fans to have it, but we want it to be right, and we want it to be good. And Glenn basically, he's an engineer that masters. He's known for mastering. He's got platinum albums on his wall. And so he's a guy with a rep, and he's really good. And I'm just blessed to be able to be his friend and know him, and that we were able to hire him to do this project, because he's had a ton of input on it. And I can't say enough about the guy. I just love him. And so, yeah, that's what it is. I mean, it's a 3+ year project. It's all recorded. We're meticulously going through the mastering right now, which is taking longer than we wanted. The production release part of the team wanted to get something out to the fans, because they just kept asking and asking and asking. So they did the digital pre-sale thing. And then the rest of the band, we're trying to play catch up in production. to get it mastered and get all the rest of the songs up there so that they can download them. And then, of course, at that time, the mastering will shoot off to the CD manufacturer. They already have all the art. It's already been approved and proofed. And then the vinyl shortly thereafter, too. And so that's the stage of the game where we're at. And I know it's not quick enough for everybody, but it's the best we can do. So it is what it is.
Well, I'm just excited that there's something new coming out from you guys.
Yep.
I've been a fan for a very long time, and getting to see y'all play at Immortal in 23 was one of the highlights of my trip up there that year. Just the excitement of being able to see y'all perform live. And so, yeah, this is one of the reasons why we do this show, is to let everybody know the great music that's out there and to help promote the new stuff, you know, and buy it. Don't borrow it and burn it. Buy it. You got to support these guys. You get them to keep making.
Yeah, it's rough, music. You know, because when you do digital pre-sales first, you know, everybody has it, you know, at that point, and then the file sharing kicks in, you know, which is a disappointing factor, but it is what it is. We're not gonna. We've spent so much money on this album that there's no way we're gonna recoup the cost on it. I don't care how many copies we sell.
Yep.
It's thousands and thousands of dollars, and so it is what it is. But we're doing it, you know, to put out something that's top notch in quality and in production and in songwriting, and a lot of songs got tracked along the way that yep, that's right. And a lot of songs got pitched. It is what it is, you know. Maybe there'll be B-cut side, you know, releases later or something. I don't know, but yeah, there's stuff that didn't make the album because we're picky. So
now I want to ask you something. When I was growing up, I listened to a lot of AC/DC and Def Leppard, and I hear a lot of those two things in your music. Can you elaborate on how that happened? Was it accident, or did you do it on purpose? Are those your influences? Tell the fans.
Yeah, it's funny because one of the many things that I don't like about the whole CCM realm of rock and metal and the whole music thing in general is that they made this division where we're Christians and we have the Christian music, therefore we have all the truth, where really, I believe the mindset should be there's truth everywhere. God's everywhere. Yep. You know, and so truth is in where truth lies, and truth is truth. So I never really liked that segregating of the music. I mean, I understand it, but there was a lot of, when you get into the industry, you find out behind the scenes that it's not all spiritual stuff. And there's a lot of just the regular world. It's money. And follow the money. And so in seeing that, you know, they would try to push bands like White Cross being, you know, as Rat or X-Center being as AC/DC. And I never liked that. I thought that was really, I mean, I could see comparisons, of course, but if I listen to a secular band like Rhino Bucket or Airborne or any of those, they're all, you know, of a genre. And we're like that too. We didn't set out to be, hey, we're going to be the Christian AC/DC or the Christian Def Leppard. It was never a thing. It was music we like. And so good music is good music. And, you know, bad lyrics are bad lyrics or whatever. But, you know, we like that style. That's what we grew up on. And so it naturally just comes out of us. For us to go in and sound like, I don't know, somebody else, it wouldn't be us. And so it's a natural thing. And I mean, you know, I saw in Michael Sweet's book, he even said, you know, he saw a sticker that said X-Center sounds like AC/DC, you know, and it's like, I get what they're trying to do, but it's like, that's not really where it's at. And that's not where we came from. And you know, he was making a good point there. And yeah, so that's it. It's just, you know, I mean, Aerosmith, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, Def Leppard, we like all that music. And so it just influenced us. That's all.
Thank you for sharing that. And I asked that just because I know that a lot of people are curious about it.
Sure.
But the way I look at it, the Christian music world, because I came out of the secular, which a lot of Christians have. I look at it as, okay, I've got some friends that don't know the Lord, but they like this one band.
Sure.
Ooh, I know some bands that sound similar. I can try to introduce them. That's where I would say that it would be okay.
Sure, it gives you an in, for sure.
Yes.
It gives you cred. Yeah, no doubt. I understand that totally. Yeah, that's for sure.
Because we want to use all of our talent to lead others to the Lord.
Yep.
And, there's some stigma that I think the stigma has gone away a little bit in the church because they've opened up to more types of music. But back in the day, if you listen to any Christian rock, they're like, that shouldn't be. I had an old man tell me that, and I'm like, what are you talking about? They're praising the Lord. They're calling Sandy Patty satanic. I'm like, wait a minute. So anyway, thanks for answering that.
Well, yeah, I go way back before X Center into Zion days, and when Zion was playing, we played for years and years before we released Thunder from the Mountain, and we played all over the Midwest, and we were doing youth. Yeah, there you go. Youth for Christ would hire us, and some of the more cutting edge churches would hire us, to play. There was no Striper. There was no White Cross. There was only like Servant, Resurrection Band, and I don't know who else, Larry Norman. But so when we were doing it, it was that. It was totally, either you're of the devil or whatever. And but being a pioneer in that realm, it's a trip. It's something else. And then when we finally saw Striper's first album, Yellow and Black Attack, come out, we're going, wow, finally maybe something's going to happen here. This is really cool.
Yep.
And so, yeah, it's crazy. But I've been back there. I've experienced all that stuff for years, and it still goes on today, actually, depending on where you're at in the country.
Right. Yep. Now, we talked earlier before the show started. Do we want to tell that story?
Sure. Yeah. How Zion's album got produced by David Zafiro from Bloodgood is that Zion opened a show in Sioux Falls, South Dakota for Bloodgood. And I unfortunately ended up having to be the promoter of the show. Their agent called me and said, hey, we need somebody to book Bloodgood. They're on tour, the Detonation tour. We need a place to play. Can you help us? Well, can you help us turned out to be, can you promote it? Then it turned out, do you know any opening bands? Well, I just so happened to know an opening band. And so Zion played, and that's where I first met them. And then they went on, and then shortly thereafter, I got word that their sound guy that they had hired for the tour quit. And they were out on the East Coast, and they were right in the middle of the tour. And I'm going, geez, this is not good. And I called, I think it was Joyce Carlson, and I said, you guys need any help or what's going on? Because I'd run sound for production companies for a long time here in Sioux Falls. And she goes, our soundman quit, da-da-da. And I go, well, I can run sound if you want for you and finish out the tour. And they went, no way. And then da-da-da. Long story short, they flew me up to Jamestown, New York. And I remember flying into Jamestown. It's not the biggest city in New York. And I had to get a connector that was a turboprop, and came in and went to the hotel and met Joe Blaylock Jr., who was on the road crew team at the time, who I already had met from Sioux Falls show. And they knew I was coming. And so I checked into the hotel with them, and then we shared a room. And on the radio, Bloodgood was doing an interview. And they talked about, we've got Rick Scott coming from Zion. And Les was talking, he's going to run something for us, and da-da-da-da-da. And so that's how that all started. And out on the road, trucks breaking down, all kinds of the typical Spinal Tap tour hardships that you could imagine. And I got a million stories of those. Some of them I got interviewed for the Bloodgood movie that couldn't make the final cuts because of time. And so I ended up on the cutting floor, my part. But when we were out there, and you have Satanists that are against you, and then you have the Christians against you at the same time. And so that's kind of what it is. It's Warfare 101. And that's how we met. And then David was thinking, hey, I want to start producing. And we became really good friends on the road. Him and I kind of had a connection somehow. And although I love all of them and they love me, but David and I just clicked. And so I said, yeah, I'm playing. He knew I played at Zion. Are you guys going to record a record and this, that, and then whatever? And led to it. We went out to Seattle. We produced a demo, and then Image Records, Storm Reppert, and George Pepper were putting together. Wanted to sign a band. They were getting ready to do something, and Dorn had promoted shows on the East Coast for years and years. And I had met him on tour with Bloodgood because he put us in Pottstown, PA, with Bloodgood. And so I knew Dorn, and then he got wind of Zion's album that David was producing. We sent him the demo. He goes, "We love it. We want to sign you guys." And that was that. That's how Zion ended up, doing Thunder from the Mountain. Then we flew back out to Seattle to do the whole album after we had, been there before and done the demo, a four song demo, excuse me. And, but yeah, so I still talk to them all the time. And I think Les was the one responsible that got us to Immortal Fest, because he called me, "Rex, what?" out of the blue somewhere. And I wasn't home. I was like far away somewhere. I don't remember where, playing or something. And, "Rex, you want to play Immortal Fest?" And I go, "When is it?" And he goes, "It's in July or whatever." It was the first one before the one we played, or the second one, whatever. I don't know how many there's been, but I said, "I can't do it this year, but maybe next year." "Okay, yeah, I'll talk to him." Da, da, da. And so that Les was kind of involved in getting us to play that first time where you saw us at, Paul. And yeah, but that's the story. That's how Zion.
Does Les know that you do his voice?
He does now.
I was loving that.
I love you, Rex. I love you.
I was trying not to laugh, but I had to.
Well, I felt really bad because when we were at Immortal Fest, I was setting up my gear and I was so involved on stage right before we came on. I was plugging in stuff, and I heard this guy off to the side of the stage going, Rex Scott. So I'm just going, who is that? I'm trying to get, and then they look and it's Les. And I'm going, "Oh, Les!" And I felt really bad because I didn't recognize him right from the get-go, And
Yeah.
I said, "Where's your wife?" "Well, she's in the back." "Okay."
We're going to have them on a second time on our show. They actually asked to come back. So woo-hoo.
Nice.
They're a fun interview.
Yeah, they're a great couple.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Very awesome. Yeah, because when we went out and did the demo, they were out on tour with Bloodgood, but Les had told me, "You can stay at our house anytime." Their son Paul was there, and just, come and stay. And so we slept on his living room floor and then went to the studio during the day and cut the 4-song demo that David Cervero produced. And yeah, so I mean, I owe those guys a lot. They've just been awesome.
That's cool.
So you mentioned Immortal. I did get to see you guys in 2023, and pre-show, when I brought it up, you apologized to me for having been to that show.
You poor man, you.
What happened?
No, they have a sound guy, a house. They call it the house sound guy. He's very good. He's an older gentleman, and he had done all their stuff leading up to this Immortal Fest. He got ill. I mean, seriously ill, not just like a little ill. He was like, might not come back ever ill. And so they had recruited a backup sound guy. And I'm not going to say who or whatever. That doesn't really matter. But it just was not. We got up on stage and things had changed as far as the monitors that we could hear and everything. And the sound mix out front was just not very good at all. And so we were very bummed because we were really looking forward to doing the show and excited and everything. And then to find out, that everything out front was real mediocre. It's a disappointment. And so the next time this year, when we went back in April to play with Barron Cross, we called Jeff Bagg, who works with Daniel Band. He's their manager and he does their sound. He's really, really good. And we met them on tour when we toured Canada with Daniel Band. And just became friends. He loves us. We love him. He would text me, "Hey, if you guys play anywhere, let me know. I'll be your sound guy." And so this show came up, and I go, "Hey, you want to be the sound guy?" And he goes, "Definitely." And so he came down and mixed us, and it sounded 10 times better and much better than before. So we were happy with that end result. But yeah, that's the story. It happens when you're on the road and you're at the mercy of who's running sound. If you're not traveling with your sound guy, that's what happens. And so it's just the way it rolls. That's rock and roll.
When you play live, you've played a lot more than I have. I probably did about 12 to 15 concerts with my other band.
Mhm.
And did you ever have the issue where, I mean, one concert, our monitors, everything sounded awesome on stage. So we thought we were rocking. And at the end, we were talking to some of the fans, and they're like, "Yeah, the sound wasn't very good." I'm like, "What?" So did you ever have that where you thought it was good, but then the front sound was different? Because a lot of fans don't understand that there's two sounds going on.
Right. Yeah. It's what you hear back on stage. That's all those speakers that are aiming at us up on stage, as you know. And then there's the front of house, which the audience is hearing. And they can be there's two guys mixing each one. There's a guy mixing the stuff that we hear up on stage. He's usually offside stage so that we can yell at him when stuff's not very good. And then there's the guy way out there, in front of house. And you're always at his mercy, whoever that ends up being. It's whether they're good or bad, you're at his mercy. And when I went out on tour with Bloodgood and ended up being the soundman on the Detonation tour, I had to really focus on that. And they didn't have a very good PA that they carried with them on the road. I would consider it like a B grade system. It was big, but it was not B grade. It was a lot of PV stuff. But when we got to go into clubs, like we played in Boston in a club, and you're using the house system, it's like night and day. And so when we played Cornerstone, we were on the indoor stage the first time.
Okay.
And I used their system, and it ripped. And I had people come up and go, "That's the best mix I've ever heard on a metal band." And so it makes a difference. It really does. It can make or break you at every show, for sure.
Thanks for answering that one too, because a lot of fans, like I'll say for me, before I started doing music, I would go to a lot of concerts, and then I would complain. So once I got up on stage and started experiencing it, now I understand from what you just said from both sides, the house and the stage. And so a lot of people don't know that. So thanks for answering that one too.
Sure. Here's another good story about the Cornerstone's side stage is that when I was in Zion, I think it was Cornerstone 90 maybe that we went to when they were still on the original location. And Zion went to just do pressers and camp out and enjoy the shows and everything. We weren't playing. And I was aware of X Center, and one of the highlights for me was going to see X Center at that Cornerstone. And they were playing on the indoor stage, which I was familiar with because that's where I ran sound for Bloodgood at. And went there, hideous thunderstorm the first night. And we were in tents. And Dave Moore, the lead guitarist, and his gal, their tent collapsed. I had a really good tent. I'm a Boy Scout, and so I know how to tent. And it was thunder and lightning like you would not believe. And so we were out in the field, kind of way out from the main stage. And I looked out the tent. It's raining, lightninging, and I see little pup tents rolling by, going, the wind taking them, gone. And anyway, long story short, went to see the X Center. I had to make sure I had it on my watch. I got to go see X Center at such and such o'clock, and got in there. And then I wanted to see what Greg Bishop, the lead guitarist, was running on stage. And so I like guitar stuff. I'm a guitar guy. Well, you can tell. And so I went up, and somebody must have knew who I was because they kind of let me go back there. And I was right side stage, and I was looking at Greg's rigs on the side, and he had two Marshall heads in this cabinet, and he had this nice setup. And I was kind of checking everything out. And then I went back out front and enjoyed the show. Well, it turned out at that time, that was on their first tour, Greg Bishop was trying to get a hold of Rex Scott because after the tour, they were going to change singers.
Wow.
And Greg runs that band, and he is the founder and leader of that band. And they wanted to fire Dave, and so it was already determined. But they didn't know how to get a hold of me. I was right there on the side of the stage.
That's pretty funny.
So we tell that story. He goes, "No way, you were there." I'm going, "Yeah, I was right there. I was like 5 feet from your amps." He's going, "Oh my gosh." He goes, "We were trying to ask so many people how to get a hold of you. We had no idea." And then finally I got this letter, a handwritten letter from Greg, and I still have it to this day. "Hey, this is Greg Bishop. You know, I wonder if we have to do a second album. Are you interested in maybe, coming out to California and doing it? You don't have to quit Zion. You can come and join us for the album only. Because we have a contractual agreement with Pachyderm, and we have to go in and do the second record. And what do you think?" Basically, And so that's what led to me. I went out, auditioned, got the audition, learned all the original first album stuff. And then they sent me home with a cassette tape of what they were working on already for Peace Treaty, which is also / Fire It Up. It's the same album. And so I started working on, they had music down, but they had no, lyrics or anything. And so I started working on all that stuff. And then I flew back out, showed them what I had, started doing more pre-production in the rehearsal studio, flew home, then flew back to record the album, then flew home, then flew back to go out on tour. And then that's where I said, I had kids at this time. I have 3 kids, and they're not babies. They're small, 5, 6, 7, whatever. And I said, we got to move. We got to move to California if we're going to do this. This is just ridiculous. And at that point, Zion had already went for like 10 years. And only in the last couple years had we finally put out a record and that sort of thing. And so I'd been in Zion a long time, and personnel had changed in and out. And so a lot of the chemistry of the band had changed dramatically towards the end. And I wasn't real happy in the scene, and I had done it for so long, and I really enjoyed Greg's songwriting, and he enjoyed mine. And so push comes to shove, I ended up moving out to California and ended up joining X-Center permanently, and that's the end of the story. And I lived out there for 30 years and just recently moved back to the Midwest where I came from.
Cool.
Wow, that's so cool. So you were there in the early days of Christian rock, and you mentioned Larry Norman and Rez Band and those guys. So talk about that.
The album Colors changed my life.
The Resurrection Band?
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk about that. Talk about what got you into this.
When I was playing in regular rock acts and clubs, and I was really growing tired of the scene and the chemical abuse and stuff, and it was just getting old, and I'm just going, this is going nowhere. And as I started searching more and more, I wanted to see what was out there more, and ended up, getting in a band with a bunch of guys that were doing like some Christian music, and it was kind of pop stuff. And so I was drumming at that time, because in Zion originally I was the drummer, and I didn't do all the lead singing. We all sang, but I had my share, and I would sing from the drum set, kind of like the band Triumph, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But so then that's what led basically to the word got out that Rex Scott and Sioux Falls, in this metal band called Rocks, glitter metal Kiss-like band, had left and become a Christian, and they're like, whoa! And so there was some musicians that knew of me but didn't know me, and they go, "Hey, are you interested? We need a drummer." And so I joined them, and then Bruce Fisher was the rhythm guitarist in Zion at the time, but he wasn't. There was no real Zion at the time, but he would end up being the rhythm guitarist in the band. But he was a program director at a secular rock station, a big one in town here, and he was also kind of searching and wanted to do something. He was the son of a pastor, and so he wanted to kind of get out of that scene he was in. And then another guitarist in town played in a southern rock band called Southwind. And that's Dave Moore, who was the lead guitarist of Zion. And they heard, that Rex Scott quit rock. They're going, well, Rex Scott quit rock. And so then I was playing in this other band, not really doing too much. We played a few little church things and that. And then they called me up and go, hey, you want to do some kind of rock thing or something? We didn't even know what it was because I go, okay, yeah, that sounds cool. Can we do rock things and being a Christian at the same time? I didn't know you could really do that. And so that's kind of where it started. And then we tried to decide on a name, and Dave Moore had I think Crystal City was his idea. And I threw out, it's got to be like one word, like Zion. And they went, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Let's do that. And so we became Zion, and that's kind of where that all began. I was the drummer for a number of years, and then a guy moved here from Michigan named Tommy Bozung, and he was my drum tech, and he'd also double as our sound guy at times. He ended up becoming the drummer of Zion. Bruce moved on. His career took him to Minneapolis, and Dave and Tommy and I were the core of Zion and kept it on. And so we played together for a long time, and then that's when we also got the Image Records deal and that whole story. That's where it all began. But yeah, it started long ago, and there was nobody. I remember there was no White Cross, there was no Striper, there was Red's band, and then when I heard Colors, I was like, wow, these guys actually are putting it on. They're bringing the heat. I'm going, wow, you can do this? I didn't know it was kosher to do, And I was like, this is awesome. And the message was powerful. The music was powerful. It had rip to it. And it was like, yeah, I want to go that way. And so that's kind of where Zion kind of went. And we kind of found our way, wrote our own songs the whole time. We never did covers ever. And yeah. And it led to, we played, like I said, Youth for Christ things and rallies. And I remember one time we played at the fair on a side stage at the Sioux Falls Fair, the county fair. And there was a country band of girls that opened up in front of us. And then we set up behind them. And they came up to me while we were playing. They go, oh, we're Christians too. Here, take this money. And they gave us money. You guys are good. And so you run into all that stuff. And that, I could tell you just hours and hours of stories, of course, but that's kind of a summation of where everything kind of came from and went.
Hey, Paul, want to hit the comments real quick?
Oh, yeah, sure. Let's do that. So Rob Lowe's here with us tonight. Hey, Rob.
Hey, Rob.
He says, God bless and good evening, everyone. And he tells us that we all rock. So that's cool. Thank you. And let's see, my clicker's not working. There we go. Pat Carnes says, good evening, everyone.
Hey, Pat.
Pat, welcome to the show. Glad you're here. And Jeremy Griffin, I don't know that we've had Jeremy in our comments before, says, saw you he's talking to you, Rex, saw you in Decatur, Illinois with White Cross, Sacred Warrior, and Believer in 1990.
Oh, yeah, that was Metal Fest 90, Decatur, Illinois. That was a good show. Yeah, That was really a good show. I think, is that where I first met Rex Carroll? I don't know. I've done so many shows with Rex now that we're the two Rexes. And so I have a picture of Rex and I on stage together because there was I think we did a hymn song or a rock ballad or something together. And I sang and he was playing and we were both singing in the same mic. I think I have that picture somewhere. But yeah, cool. Over in Europe, we've played with them, and here in the United States as well. I love Rex.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, so Jeremy goes back to 1990. I don't think I was aware of any Christian rock or metal except Petra and Striper maybe until probably 92, 93. So that's probably about the place where I became aware of X Center and everybody else that we've talked about. Jeremy also says, one of my favorite Rock of Ages from the Metal Praise album.
Oh, yeah. That's one I did with Caesar Kalinowski was the producer. I can't remember the label, but he recruited a lot of the names in the realm. Les was there. I was there. Rex Carroll was there. a lot of people, and we did these songs that he had written and tracked them in his studio. It was really trippy too, because he had bought an old was it a Shriner building? It was a very old, multi-story, huge building. It looked like a little small old schoolhouse type thing, but big, and he had the studio up on another floor, and so he had these big rooms to work with and get all these tones and everything. And I remember, that's from there, doing those. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I actually have that on CD, and I don't want to put my back to the camera, so I grab it. But if I'm remembering correctly, that there was a bunch of combinations of people that didn't normally record together.
Yes.
Recording songs.
He brought in everybody, all kinds of anybody you kind of know, separately, but we all were together in this. Was it Jim Laverty from Barron Cross was there? Or was it? I don't remember if it was who it was. But there was a bunch of, all the bands were represented by one or two members of guys, and we all got together and worked on these songs that Caesar had written, and then we tracked them in his studio there.
Yeah,
really nice studio in this big, huge school. It's crazy.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a mashup of bands that guys that never recorded, but it was really, and Jeremy said yes, Jim was on that, and I do seem to remember his name because
I definitely remember being in there singing with the headphones on, and they're going, "Rex, you're flat." I think we were doing backgrounds or something, and I remember Caesar coming through the talkback like, "Hey Rex, you got to sing better than that. You're flat on those." Yeah, it happens.
Well, that brings me back, that CD and the mashup, and so going back from the days where you guys were like one of very few to now seeing what has been wrought, the explosion of bands.
Hundreds and hundreds.
Yeah. What's that
the whole
like?
thing is exploded.
Because it's kind of like, do you feel kind of, I don't want to say responsible, but feel kind of like you contributed to that being in the early days of this?
Yeah, I mean, it was a growth thing, and it was something that was just a momentum and a thing that was happening. And so some people would call that like a revival or a move of God in a direction or whatever. But there was definitely just this boom, explosion that took place. And I mean, I'm just happy to be where I am and do what I did. That's all. If I inspired somebody, I'm glad. The best part of doing all this is when you get the letters from the people that say, "Hey, I listened to this song or such and such song changed my life." Those are the cool things, the cool moments. And
I think I need to get some medicine. Just kidding.
Yeah, that's right.
Medicine.
So, the influence, the background, all of that, coming into getting to play an Immortal Fest, getting to see, what was that? Was that like a big family reunion for you? Getting to see
definitely. That's what it was. And I got to see Ray again, and I go, "Ray!" He goes, "Rex!" And there's hugs of galore, and everything. And it was the same when we played in April with Barron Cross too. Drew Fisher is one of their lifelong road crew tech guys, one of their main guys. And he was with me out on the Bloodgood Detonation tour. And he ran monitors and I ran front of house. And so, we've got history galore. And to see them again this year was just awesome. And a blessing for sure. It was really good. It's very cool. You see everybody and they can never get to see and reconnect.
Yeah.
So we had Dave Perdue on, and he was talking about the club scene out in California at the time when Neon Cross was playing.
Mm-hmm.
Were you guys? I don't know the time frame for you guys. Were you in Zion or X Center during that? And did you guys play the club scene?
we did play the club scene. We played the Whiskey a Go-Go. We played the Troubadour. We played all the big, well-known clubs, I guess you'd call them, on Sunset and everywhere else out there. Yeah, it was the time that where you could, get booked for that stuff and do well, have good crowd responses and things. And I remember out of Hollywood because when we lived in California, Greg was more up near the Los Angeles area. Then Hollywood is right there, of course. I was a little further south in Orange County, but I would come up all the time. And I remember we'd go down there. There was a club down there called the Marquee Club down in Orange County that was well known in the big hair days for when Poison and, all those bands were playing. And then I remember we played at one big club down there called the Galaxy Theater. We opened for Warren. And, we've opened for Starship. We've done a lot of different things. But,
oh, really? You opened up for Starship? That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. What's that lead singer's name again? I don't
remember.
I can't think of it. He couldn't believe how he goes, how do you sing like that all night? But how do you do that? He would take it back. They're one of my favorite bands. It goes way back. My kids were little, and then one of my daughters danced to one of their songs, one of their big hits, and so when they played, my daughter had come out to see us play, and she was grown now because it's much later in the years, and we got to slow dance to that song together. So that was a good memory.
Awesome.
That was a fun show that night.
Hey, the way you sing, you brought it up. Do you have?
Well, I got up on stage and I told them, I go, okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming tonight. We are the loud and obnoxious part of the show, and everybody chuckled and laughed in the audience, and so they got it. And but it worked well.
Do you have to do anything to keep your throat from hurting your throat singing that way, or does it come natural?
It comes natural.
That's good.
Yeah.
So from a ministry standpoint, you got to play in the secular clubs. You've gotten to open up for a lot of the big name bands. What kind of opportunities what kind of doors did that open for ministry and
not as many as one would think. You try to do the best you can, and you try to be responsible and be when you're an opening act, you have to be an opening act. You can't be somebody that's going to try to steal the show or do anything like that. You have a regimen. You've got to be on time. You can't go over time. Your sound check is at this time. You've got to do it, and you only get this amount of time to sound check. You don't get all the time in the world like, the headliners or whatever. And so the only real witness you can do is be responsible and be a decent person, not a selfish person. And so the focal point was to just, let who we are shine, and be as nice and loving and caring as we could be to them. And that's all you can do. That's all you can do.
That works, though, because I've told the story before, and I'll do it real quick because the show is about you. But
go ahead. I want to hear it.
I was working at a factory, like a warehouse, and for about 6 months, but 4 months in, one guy walked up to me and goes, "Hey, Bryan." I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" "You don't curse, do you? You don't cuss." I'm like, "No, that's weird." And then he kept walking. So what you're saying about be on time, do the right thing, be responsible, they can see Christ in that.
Well, yeah. I mean, truth is truth. And if you live and live responsibly, and your love for other people will become self-evident, and you're caring. And so, yeah, true.
Yeah, and I've had similar experiences. I remember I was working in a new office, and we were in break, and everybody's telling off-color stories and jokes, and I didn't really participate. And so I go and I use the restroom, and some dude comes in the next urinal next to me. He's like, "So where do you go to church?" I told him, and I was like, and it turned out to be one of the only other believers in the place.
Oh,
and
cool.
they're becoming really good friends.
Awesome.
Oh, that's funny.
It was like kind of not the best place to have the conversation.
Oh, dudes, this is really funny. I went to Cornerstone Festival and I saw Tourniquet for the first time, right? So I had to go to the bathroom so bad. I'm screaming to my friend, I think it was my drummer, John, pull over, man. I got to go. So we finally got to a steak and shake. I ran into the men's room and I'm the urinal doing my business. And this guy comes in next to me and I looked over and I go, holy crap. I said, you're Ted Kirkpatrick. He goes, yeah. And I go, don't worry. I'm not going to ask to shake your hand.
Nice.
He was a pretty cool guy. He laughed. That was pretty cool.
Of course.
So we've got a viewer from South Africa tonight. Tim Cocroft is with us. Greetings from South Africa. Blessings to you, Rex.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, thanks, Tim.
Tim's a friend of the show. He's been on, he's been with us, like losing sleep. Quite a few hour difference in South Africa.
No doubt.
And
that's dedication.
Yep, he's gonna earn a crown.
When we got a question from a viewer, Pat wants to know, many bands now tune their guitars differently, drop C and D. Is there any band now you look at and think, I really appreciate the message in their music and their musical abilities?
I like Worldview a lot. And the drop D stuff, it's kind of a current trend right now. It became kind of a trendy thing. I don't know if it'll change. It went from in X Center, we've seen the grunge era come in with Pearl Jam and STP and all those bands, and then everything that was before it, and the rock that we do kind of was no more really for a while. And then the drop D stuff has also come along for a long time with the thrash and the speed metal and all that, and so that's kind of the a direction that goes. And the bass player that plays with us live, his name is Jason Ellsworth. He's a local guy that plays in a lot of bands, and he's well aware of the drop D stuff, and he plays guitar himself in some of those types of bands. And so it's a great heavy sound. It's definitely, it leans into a genre, of that whole thing where they have logos that look like trees that you can't really read, but it's, and then the real low vocal stuff. And I think a lot of it's cool. It's got a lot of power, but I can't think of one particular band that I really like that does that, but
I just posted on Facebook last week. I got a picture of a scribbled paper, like a kid scribbled.
Yeah.
I said, this is my favorite heavy metal band. Have you guys heard of this? So I got a lot of fun stuff in the feed on that one.
Yeah, that's good. I remember now there was a meme out too. It was a cartoon character, and he's looking, he's going, heavy metal band or tree? Looking at it.
And we got a comment from Chrissy, my wife, is out in the other room watching the show live, and she's really enjoying the show. So
great.
Good.
Awesome. Yeah, one of those bands we played with at Elements of Rock in Switzerland was Schlechtwald. They look like Viking Norseman guys with all dark makeup and real dark, and really enjoyed them a lot. And then when we went back to the hotel or the place we were staying, they were the most friendly, normal guys you'd ever meet and talk to. You would never know it by looking at them on stage because it's just so ominous and rude. And that's the same with Jason Ellsworth, the guy that plays bass for us too. When we go out live, he's got a really long beard and he's got this real heavy look to him, but he's the nicest guy, sweetheart of a guy you'd ever meet, ever. And I love him a lot. He's an awesome dude. And then also what kind of happened is we got Tommy Bozung from Zion, who comes and plays with us live now too. And so he was drumming for us at Immortal, and then this year too when we opened for Barren Cross. So it's great to reunite with some of my old Zion buddies, and Tommy loves playing with us, and he's a great drummer. So, yeah, we've got a pretty good lineup for live now. I'm really happy about it.
Isn't it cool how God has created music to begin with? and
Yeah.
how us Christians are taking the music back. Because music is not inherently evil. God created it. We can't help that the devil takes it and uses it for evil. So we take it back and use it for good. But isn't it cool how it brings us together?
Yeah, music is its own language for sure. It definitely is. It's seems to be spiritual in nature, and it's a very interesting thing. I've pondered on it many hours, over my lifetime of what music can do and what joy it can bring and so
Yep.
forth. It's very cool.
Tim dropped us a comment, and he said that he appreciates that X Center music is on Bandcamp, and thank you. That's his main go-to place these days, and just wish that more bands use that platform.
Ah, well, good. Well, maybe more will now since we started doing it. I know there's not too many in our realm that use it, but
I'm going to try to put We Are Resolute on there. I looked at it once, but I didn't know what I was doing. So maybe I can get some help doing that.
yeah, it's interesting because you either have the option to go through a third party to distribute all your stuff digitally online to iTunes and Spotify and Rhapsody Music. Pardon me?
Like companies like DistroKid?
Yeah, like DistroKid or TuneCore. Yeah, there's several of them. And I'm actually looking into DistroKid because they seem to be the least controlling, obtrusive platform between the artist and that realm.
That's
But
what we
Bandcamp offers that nobody else does is that we can directly control everything.
Oh,
And so we control our own digital downloads. You can only get them from us right now. Will they be on Apple later? Possibly. If we so decide to do that and go through like DistroKid or somebody to get them, although because all our other stuff is obviously on all those platforms. But with a new album, it's an experiment, and so we're trying to see what the benefits and so forth and detriments are of doing it this way, where you control the entire distribution of your release, especially in the digital realm and online, because that's kind of where everything is right now. You have your hardcore people that love the hard copies and they want the CD, they want the vinyl, and we're going to accommodate them as well on this album. But
that's good.
It's when you get paid so little for Spotify and iTunes and things,
Yeah, it's pathetic.
and we can actually set our own price here.
Okay.
We can't do that there, and so. I'm liking it. Everything so far, it's been really good. So yeah, we'll see.
With DistroKid, you can, when you're putting your songs on, when you're uploading them,
Yeah,
it does give you options like how much per song you want to sell it for, and you can for the whole album. You can put a price for the whole album. So I do like that.
Yeah, that is nice. That's the same thing at Bandcamp. Now, does DistroKid put your stuff on iTunes and stuff too?
Oh, it's going on things I haven't even heard of, like Deezer. I've never.
Okay, so they have the full gamut of all the online stores.
Yep.
That's interesting that you can set your price like that. That's a bonus. That's one of the things I was wondering about them, but I'll have to look into them some more. Once we decide to maybe go with all our other, right now we use TuneCore as our middleman for all our online Spotify, iTunes, Rhapsody Music, Amazon. All of them. There's hundreds of them. All our stuff is on there, but the as far as I've ever known, unless they've changed it recently and haven't told me, is that we could never set any price. That's why I was intrigued with DistroKid, because I had heard something about that. But
I confirm you can do that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's why we use Bandcamp right now too. So it's cool. I mean, the cool thing about Bandcamp is you can have all your merch on there as well.
Oh, wow.
And so that's another big bonus. And so you have instant access to your fans, and they can buy any merch they want or do whatever they want. Digital downloads, hard copies, whatever.
We go through Anchor merchandising.
Yeah, I don't like doing that, but
Okay.
it's another story. I like controlling my own, our own stuff. We like controlling our own stuff. We want to know, it's a great convenience feature. because you don't have to carry any stock, and I understand that. We did order something from them at one point, but yeah.
I like that we didn't have to put anything down.
Yeah.
And then you get that. And so we're not big or anything, so this is what we did. But I do want to get a full website, get our own store, purchase in bulk, whatever. But right now is not the time. So are you guys going to tour with your new album?
Well, we'll see. I mean, we already have interest overseas, so we'll see. We put these out in hope that we do get shows, that generates interest. Because when we hadn't done anything for quite a while. We put out World Covered in Blood, and after we did that, then we got all kinds of calls. And so
you guys and Bride should come to West Michigan. I'll be all over that.
That Greg Bishop, the lead guitarist from X-Center, is from Michigan.
Oh, Rob.
Yeah.
Cool.
Owasso.
I don't even know where that's at.
It's by Flint. It's near Flint.
I'm by South Haven, just south of Holland.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, unfortunately, I think we've hit our hour. This is the fastest. We say it every time. It's the fastest hour on the internet. It blows by incredibly quick.
Yep.
Before we go, where can we find your music? You talked about Bandcamp. Where can we listen to Zion? Where can we listen to GX Project?
Yeah, both Zion and X-Center are on Bandcamp. It'd be just x-center.bandcamp.com. And the Zion one, I believe, is called zionrock.bandcamp.com. So both of those places. And then our website is xcenterband.com too. So you can, they're kind of linked. You can go back and forth.
And do we have a target time, month-ish?
We're pushing so hard, and I think they went into the digital pre-sales a little bit early because it gets people so almost too excited, and they're going, "Where's the CD? Where's the vinyl? Where's the CD? Where's the vinyl?"
Yeah.
And we're going. The album's done and recorded. We're just going through the mastering process now, and however long that takes. I mean, we wanted to have it done by the end of November and out. And the CD's available. Mm-hmm. Whether we make that date or not, we'll have to see and play it by ear. But that's what we're pushing for. Like I said, the CD art on the cover for the jacket has already been approved and uploaded to the manufacturer. They're just waiting for the master from us so they can press the CD discs. And then after we get that out of the way, then we'll look at the vinyl. We've already got the color picked for the vinyl, and we have the artwork is also all done. The gatefold of the vinyl will match the CD. They both are gatefolds. And and that'll be after. And so maybe by Christmas, I don't know. The vinyl maybe, but we're shooting towards the end of November is what we would. Whether we make that or not, I don't know. We'll try.
All right. So I know my wife's watching tonight. That's my Christmas list. Entry the new X-Center CD. So
excellent.
Yes.
And and a t-shirt with it. Got to get a bundle.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, the t-shirts. We do have the t-shirts. They're online right now at Bandcamp. You can get those. Cool. The Bang t-shirts. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. So this has been fantastic, man. Thank you so much for coming on with us.
Oh, Bryan, Paul, thank you so much for inviting me. I appreciate it so much. It was great talking to you, great meeting you, and hopefully we'll see you out on the road somewhere at a show or something.
Yeah, I'm hoping there's another Immortal. I guess there hasn't been an announcement yet, so
never know. You never know.
Yeah, this has been a blast. Like I always say in other episodes, my cheeks start to hurt because I'm smiling out the whole time.
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
You got to use those cheek muscles more, boy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's God telling you. You better smile some more now, son.
Exactly.
People.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not a normal look for me. So yeah, it's was a good show.
All right, brothers. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Bryan. Any parting words for tonight?
Yeah, Rex, just stay on for a few minutes after we cut it. Like I always say, read the Bible every day, even if it's only a chapter. Make sure you're praying not just for yourself, but pray for others. And if I always told my daughter, I said I would always go, "What do you do when you fall down?" And she'd roll her eyes and go, "Get back up." So if you fall away, just it's only one more step back to God. So don't let the devil keep you down, because you're gonna goof up. So if you goof up, just get back up again. Trust the Lord. Keep going.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we don't know
Thank
what
you.
it's like to live a perfect life.
No,
There's no way.
absolutely not. Can't do it. Well, we keep trying.
Yep.
That's what
We
we're
just got to try. That's what we
Yep.
got to do.
Yep.
All right. Well, Rex, thank you so much. Thank you to everybody that joined us tonight in the comment section.
Yeah.
And whoever watches this down the road, thank you for jumping in and checking us out. And hopefully you have a blessed week, and we'll see you all next Sunday. Same time, same place.